What's up, people? It's your boy Home Boom back with another segment of the Hold Up Show. And hold up, the business of loyalty, the unspoken terms, 50 Cent versus Big Meech. Today we're going to be reviewing a clip by a content creator called Culture Decoded as we get up to speed on the recent event that sparked and also led up to the beef between 50 Cent and Big Meech. Let's get into it. Hold up.
The beef between 50 Cent and Big Meech is officially on. Snitch accusations, corrupt federal officers, murder charges. You would think it was a movie, but it's not. When Big Meech appeared in a video with 50 Cent's longtime rival Rick Ross, the internet knew 50 wouldn't hesitate to respond. The same way he did when Southwest T, co-founder of BMF, did the same exact thing not too long ago. And because of this...
Now, we all seen this clip when it got released of Big Meech promoting the concert, the Welcome Back concert. And at some point in time, we knew some type of business or some type of celebration for him coming home was going to be put into play. And that also made me kind of wonder, why wasn't that business already tied in with 50 Cent to have 50 Cent host his welcome home party? But again, we know why, because probably Big Meech loved that song BMF by Rick Ross and Styles P, and 50 could not see himself committing to doing any type of business with Rick Ross by hosting something that he had to do some type of contract with him to get him to come through. So let's continue on.
This 50 is looking to do more than respond. It seems like he's looking to end the name and credibility of Big Meech and possibly...
Also, from the offset of this, when Meech's brother Terry was seen with 50 Cent's enemy's biological son, who also calls himself Little Preem after his father, when we seen that scenario, it was very confusing to us, and we knew that 50 was going to have some sort of response. But the intelligent man that 50 is, and the businessman that he is, since he invested so much into the BMF brand, did not overreact when things first jumped off of Terry posting this video or being in these pictures and these videos helping promote something Little Preem was pushing to elevate the image of his father, as well as garner some of that energy of BMF hitting back on the streets after their prison terms were over. So let's continue on. We're gonna dive into all that.
All of BMF. 50 Cent decided to respond with an Instagram post hinting at the idea of a documentary focusing on a woman named Tammy Cohen's. You may not know who Tammy Cohen's is, but she's definitely an important figure in all of this. She's CEO of BMF Entertainment, Big Meech's company. She had power of attorney for Big Meech when he was in jail, and she's one of the executive producers of the BMF series on Starz. So here's where it gets crazy, because Tammy has been accused of working with Big Meech to set up other members of BMF to get his sentence reduced. So it seems to me that 50 Cent is setting up to do an expose documentary on how Big Meech set up other members of BMF to get out of jail early. But how is that possible? Because technically, Big Meech served his entire sentence. Well, let me explain. There's a man named Dion Cuffy Gatlin. He's the former head of the St. Louis chapter of BMF and a crucial member of the team. He's currently serving a 27-year sentence for 2 murders and drug trafficking. He claims that Big Meech is the reason he's behind bars. Cuffy and Meech's relationship go back to the 90s. At one point, Cuffy paid $250,000 for rights to the BMF entertainment arm. That's movies, that's television, and all of that. That's when Cuffy and 50 Cent's relationship started. So the question is, where did everything go wrong? Well, Cuffy claims Meech introduced him to Tammy Cohen's, who eventually convinced him to buy 100 kilos of cocaine from a source that Meech recommended. Yeah, Meech was still moving coke while he was locked up. He alleged that Tammy was an informant and Meech was aware of this, and the deal went south and he was eventually arrested. He alleges that this deal would have got Meech out of jail several years ago, but the evidence from this arrest became inadmissible in court because Tammy was having an affair with the DEA agent Keith Cromer handling the investigation. So the evidence was thrown out. And if that's true, it means that Big Meech set up his brother and didn't even get out of jail for it. Side note, Rick Ross is definitely a chess player. Even after 50 Cent made millions for Lil Meech and his family and he set them up for a career in TV and film, Rick Ross was still able to slide in and make his presence known. We don't understand the ins and outs of exactly why it played out like this, but I can assure you money is at the heart of it.
So there you have it. Thank you to the content creator Culture Decoded for bringing us up to speed on the beef between 50 Cent and Big Meech. So again, I like to start at the beginning of when we started to see some possible tension between BMF and 50 Cent. And that started when Terry came home, I believe in 2020, for a COVID release that allegedly the streets were whispering was weird, being as though he was the person allegedly that started the wiretap and was the one that ultimately started the downfall and had the most evidence as far as taking down BMF. They never caught Meech with any drugs, any drug money in the same vicinity of any of these things. They knew he was the face, and at the time, allegedly, the story was the king sacrificed himself so that for the greater good of the village, instead of just run and go hide and live in infamy forever. So we see Terry come home, and there's whispers about him being released under the COVID thing. They believe that there's some form of agreement or some paperwork or something, stating that he possibly did some alleged cooperating somehow, some way, and they used COVID as the guise to get him out, and so no one would look further into how he was able to get back on the streets. Now, I don't know one way or the other. I'm telling you what I've seen, what I've heard. Not a part of the streets. So, let's get into it. Then he takes this, they have this video, is posted. He's supporting Little Preem, who is Kenneth Supreme McGriff's biological son, younger son, and I guess he's like promoting products like t-shirts and other garments with images of his father, or I guess some sort of Supreme Team type of clothing line, or something to promote his father and his brand or his lineage. And he was tying in putting the pictures of Meech and his father on shirts or on things with phrases, and Terry was supporting him, and you kind of almost look at it like, was that some sort of chess move to be like, hey little nigga, we bigger than you, the BMF stamp out here in these streets, or whatever we did and however we did it, is bigger than whatever you thinking you brought to the table, or whatever you thinking you trying to accomplish here with us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, almost like in a way trying to show like you can't little boy us type of deal. This is just all my perspective. I have, I have no sources. I have no nothing. This is just me from the outside looking in, trying to evaluate the situation or the possible situation at that time, right? And to me, I'm thinking like, he's invested in y'all brand. He's bought y'all brand to TV. Now I'm pretty sure like you had demand, and anyone could have bought your story to TV. But as I believe was reported, 50 Cent was sought out because of his presentation of power and how he was able to capture that element of the street and also keep it entertaining, but also keep it with that line of authenticity to it. And they just wanted their story to be told with that kind of same cinematography and professionalism, but also having someone like 50 Cent in the office, a street guy who got it out the mud, who's able to help these corporate people see the vision, or be able to present the vision in a way that the streets feel as though that they're going to give it a stamp of authenticity, and that's as probably as close of a depiction you can give without implicating other people, without saying, or talking about crimes that weren't actually documented, or all that. So 50 did not immediately react to Terry's action. He let it settle for a minute because I feel as though he was trying to check the temperature of what the hell actually is Terry trying to do to something we invested so much in, and it is to put your family and brand in a legitimate situation, which was Meech's plan the whole time before he went in, before Terry was extra jammed up on the telephone. Alleged. So he's trying to internalize what exactly is this guy doing? Is he an agent of chaos? Is he looking to bring BMF down again? Is he upset or jealous that he's in some way still being overshadowed by Meech in this whole BMF story, and wanted to come home and sort of make his presence be known or felt, and that he got power, or if he's not equivalent to, he is very close to Meech as far as garnishing the respect that he's looking for. And maybe that was the reason why he did what he did, but only he knows. Only him and 50 knows, because I'm pretty sure 50 probably knows by now or whatever. So then, I guess as time went on a little bit, and he's seen that I guess he was trying to be a smart guy, 50 started to return little jabs to not only Little Preem, I believe, but Terry, But I feel as though they were also trying to squash and quell that, because there was still money to be made, and also flip that in a way to use it as promotion for the show to get people to tune in because of the little friction that he caused. In business, you're always looking to turn a negative into a positive. How can you capitalize off something that may possibly negatively affect you? It's the same as the stock market. When someone's losing money, someone's making money. Best believe that. And that's what you should always look into. So then we get to the point where the show is successful. 50 has invested, got the stars and the corporate people involved, and has taken the story to the next level, has invested in Little Meech put him in acting school, has also, given him a way or an opportunity to possibly garner other acting roles, because let's be honest, whatever acting school he went to, he did well. He went in there and he accomplished what he was there to accomplish, because he does have a presence on screen, and he does have a acting quality about him, and he could possibly get better. He could possibly play other roles. He could possibly be something in that side of entertainment, and that was due to the opportunity that 50 Cent gave him. And it's not to say that somebody else wouldn't have gave him, but it's said to be known that 50 pushed for Little Meech to be the one to play his father in the early stages, because we know how the corporate game play. They like to bring in whoever they deem should be, somebody more bankable, a more bankable star, someone with more credentials and accolades that they can actually sell to the people to tune in. But this was like ready-made crack. Like it was there just waiting to be sold. It was going to sell itself. You just had to not overcook it, or not whip it bad. You know what I'm saying? So that's where 50 Cent comes in. He was there to make sure that the corporate entity that was helping blow this and take this to the next level, blow this up, and give it the eyes and the attention that it needed to be successful, make sure that they don't put too much baking soda on this story. It's already raw, and it's going to come back triple, quadruple, and they was, with every season. So, especially as the story got more intricate, because we were all waiting for that moment of them making the transition to Atlanta fully, and eventually telling the story of the downfall. Like we wanted that version of all that up until the point where Meech is in that room and say he's going to take whatever he was going to take to save the people in his family and organization, or to at least help lighten their load somewhat. So Meech, the show is successful. Time goes on there on the third, fourth season, and Meech comes home. We knew Meech was coming home, just didn't know exactly when. But Meech comes home. In the midst of Meech coming home, we had former BMF members like J-Bo, like Blue Da Vinci, especially Blue Da Vinci. Blue Da Vinci has been in the media, as far as the internet media, voicing his opinions and voicing his experience of what he went through regarding the BMF situation, because they were coming at him with his own quote-unquote alleged snitch allegations. And me understanding the elements of the street to some degree, never being involved, I don't know what people classify as snitching anymore, or whatever, you know what I mean? What are the intricate details of snitching? As far as in my book, from my era, if y'all plan to do some crime, whether y'all join the gang, set up to go hit a lick, whatever you plan to, if you plan to do it, if y'all came to the table and said y'all were going to go in and do this, and if anybody got caught, we got your bread, we got this, we got, or whatever, no one says nothing, you just got to eat it, and we supposed to hold you down when you get out, or whatever the case may be, right? It was understood that this was a decision that you made, and if you happen to get caught up in the game, you cannot talk to law enforcement. You have to eat whatever the brunt of your punishment is that they get you, or whatever they caught you for, right? So he was explaining his experiences with BMF, and he was also one of the people to bring up individual that we're going to the individual from the clip, Mr. Cuffy, that we're going to talk about, far as these unspoken terms of business, you know. So in the midst of that, we're hearing these rumblings of a certain individual and a name that keeps popping up. Now, so we had J-Bo doing interviews. We had Terry's ex. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. T. I think it's no, not T. But the that beautiful young lady, she was sharing her side of the story and experiences because she didn't want to be misrepresented. And you had Blue Da Vinci, and I'm sure there's others because I've seen others on other platforms like Cam Capone or like I believe the Art of Dialogue, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, so Meech comes home and immediately, like you and I and the rest of the people, you expected to see some sort of photo op with 50 Cent, or at least the first photo op with the family and his son, you know, who's become this recognizable figure, and in so many words, very spitting image of his father is just shorter or whatever. So we get the photo op, you know, 50, Uncle Murder, Tony Yayo. They go see Big Meech, you know, let him, at they got the prison stench off of him, got fresh, got situated or whatever, and it's ready to, you know, hit the ground running. They go, they holler, you know, no one knows what was talked about, discussed, whatever, what was the temperament, whatever, however you want to break it down, right? But it looked like it was cordial. It looked like it was going in the right direction. And you also just had a feeling like, yeah, what's going to be next? And what else could, now that Meech is home, and could convey directly to 50 Cent about maybe some of the intricacies that was going on that he couldn't say over the phone or while he was incarcerated. So we were anticipating more. We there was a level of excitement. Plus, there was also a level of excitement, somewhat on the street level, as far as people were ready to come outside again. In so many terms, like they were hoping that the excitement of a person with such a bigger than life personality and what he represents can reignite certain industries like the strip clubs, like the regular clubs, like rap music, like Atlanta, like Miami, or, you know, just inject some energy into the game. And people were anticipating that, but then there's these rumblings that keep getting louder. Now, there's an undertone there a little bit. So then, not too long after the photo op with 50, we get a Instagram post of a welcome back concert. And guess who this video is with? It's with Rick Ross, a very well known, very publicized enemy of 50 Cent. So now we know for sure that a negative reaction is going to be taken by 50 Cent, because now this is some sort of level of disrespect now. Like I mean, disrespect is disrespect. But it is I don't want to say low form of disrespect, because disrespect is disrespect and people react on full tilt for any disrespect. But when I say like a low level of disrespect, like, it's not like he shot his mom type of disrespect, or spit at his grandmom or something like that disrespect. This was like a nigga what? Like, what the fuck did you do? After all I did, like a homie you put on his feet, and now he getting fly on you, or you know what I mean? So Meech says promotes this concert and Rick Ross car show. And immediately my thoughts, trying to be logical from the outside looking in, was that 50 Cent did not want to do business with Rick Ross under any circumstances, just for Meech to get this song played at his Welcome Back concert. Because I'm pretty sure that would probably looking for that to be the end all be all song of that Welcome Back concert. So you can't, 50 could not have himself hosting some Welcome Back concert that the finale is one of his arch enemies hit songs. Excuse me. Because then the big celebration, the person who's hosting or put together the concert, everybody's on stage celebrating the celebration send off in the end song, right? In so many words. So yeah, we knew that was not going to happen. Well, at least I knew, and I'm trying to think what was said behind the scenes, because of course this was mentioned and brought up and strategized and planned out, and you got to get artists and get them booked and get them confirmed, and advances got to be sent out, or some people just did it on the arm because of who Meech is and what he represented and how he influenced their life. So I'm just saying, on 50's side, he's like, these motherfuckers have lost their mind. Like, they are tripping, and they need to be shown that they are, that like, now you're going to be shown that you are all the way tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, so on the other side of that coin is Meech and his perspective and his outlook of it. Ross probably came with an injection of cash flow that he almost certainly needed, and that alleged $5 million that we're learning from 50 that was given to, I believe, Meech or BMF as a whole, or the company, or whatever. The $5 million for the show and the other investments and things of that nature. But we know for certain that he's saying that they pocketed $5 million. So the show has been on 3 or 4 years. $5 million. I've never had $5 million, so I couldn't tell you. I would think that the $5 million would be being invested and look to be turned into something to grow, but I don't know. 5 million you give to, it's on the pop. 5 million legal dollars that I could do whatever I need to do it. That's a hell of an opportunity for anyone, right? So Meech is a go-getter. Meech is a person that allegedly touched hundreds, if not a billion, of underground profits from his organization, right? So a couple $100,000 here, stuff that he used to throw in the street club that now he might be getting from trying to broker these deals to get back to some sort of comfortability or something that he used to remember or is accustomed to. he's going to be taking all the meetings. He's going to be listening to whoever, and he's not going to limit himself to 50's enemies. Like, he's not going to turn his back on them, because what is he not going to accept money from anybody that 50 Cent frowns his face up at? You understand what I'm saying? So, especially if you're in a position of need and you can't get it from probably the person you first bought the opportunity to, and first probably pleaded with, like, yo, we need to get beyond this and just get the money and da 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 da. Like, we don't have to like each other. You don't have to like. I don't know the intricacies of what's going on. I know you know the baby mom sued you. You went bankrupt. They tried to end you. All that. We don't know every single thing that was going on, but we know it was a mess. We know it was a mess, right? And if I was 50, no, right? No. Now, being as though I personally don't know all the circumstances that took place between Rick Ross and 50 Cent and everything else that went on with that, because allegedly, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Fat Joe backing Rick Ross? You know what I'm saying? And him and 50 were able to come to an understanding. But I don't know. Because Ross might be affiliated with something else that was just in cahoots with Fat Joe at that time, because they was team through Khaled. So we don't know. We don't know. But we do know whatever went on between them can't be resolved. It's beyond a solution. So now that we understand that, who their positions at that very moment are just a glimpse of what I believe were their positions, you have to ask yourself, what would you have done? Or whose side are you choosing in this coin of the argument? Now, unless Meech wanted me to perform at this concert also with Rick Ross, but Rick Ross has to end it because of his BMF song or whatever the terms, you know what I mean, that wasn't going to happen in the first place or whatever. I do see a path where he could have took a percentage and not been involved, not had his name on it, not been affiliated with it, no sort of way, but I get my cut on Mafia time, you feel me? Or on the business of loyalty. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you come to me out of the business of loyalty through these unspoken terms. Like, you should be coming to me first. I should have first right of refusal because I put you back on your feet when you were in a position of vulnerability, right? But if I still want a piece but do not want to give energy to it, I should be also afforded that opportunity, or I should be afforded that level of loyalty in business. It should just be an unspoken term. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I got with a certain rapper and that rapper got me a deal, and then I get the check for signing with whoever, like I get my signing bonus, of course I should break off the person that got me the deal. What they want to be broken off. Like, there's an unspoken percentage that you should not disrespect, you know what I'm saying? Or, you have to offer that. Like, if they want to turn it down, they just straight up and outright refuse to take your money for that opportunity they gave you because they got paid from the person that they bought you to, or they got paid some other type of way, finder's fees and all that type of stuff, or they getting a percentage of you on the back end anyway that they don't, you know what I'm saying, want a piece of your signing bonus, want you to live or whatever. Let them make that decision. But the unspoken term is you got to break them off. And you got to break off everybody that got you to that situation. It's an unspoken term in business loyalty, right? Meech probably never gave the full extent of any of that. And even if he did, and say 50's position was, I don't want you anywhere, anything involved with him until after the show is over. So if you want to do a welcome back concert, you want to jump around on stage with this fat motherfucker while he sing this song that he just, you know, sucked your energy at the time to keep for his own personal interest. You know what I mean? He might have said he don't want him nowhere near him. And Beach probably looked at it like, who you talking to? I was worth B's. You ain't at my level. Yeah, you looked out for the cookout, but I brought something to the table that everybody was looking for, that everybody knew was crack. I got just as much pull as you. Blah, 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 right? We don't know. Or Meech could have actually been desperate for the cash because he probably was handling things or handling debts or handling whatever or investing or whatever he needed to do with the $5 million that he got 3-4 years ago, 3 or 4 TV seasons ago from 50 and Stars and whoever else, right? That brokered that. So he might have been actually in need of money, and the numbers that Ross came with were probably astronomical because Ross is up. You know what I'm saying? And not only being up, he's up with other people that are willing to invest and have that bread to make something or someone like a Big Meech's ears perk up or be like, yeah, I need that. Yeah, let's do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get to pick all my favorites that I want to hear from, and they gonna come and show me some love so I can get some. Yo, let's do that, right? So they say you should never move or make moves out of desperation, but we don't know the position that man was in. And if that man decided that he wanted to take that position and make those decisions, that was on him, right? So then after that is done, and I'm pretty sure some more back behind the scenes conversations took place and everything was going on or wanted to be discussed, right? 50 flames the Tammy Cohen situation and the OG Cuffy in St. Louis situation, right? So we seen all that in the clip, right? Tammy Collins is this individual that was going around jails she had this assignment of being a third party, doing these third party cooperation agreements, right? And you know, when the rumblings were first happening at a street level and people weren't believing it, when people who were coming home were telling them that they were seeing Meech or that they seen him entertaining said person, because you know they sending a baddie in there. So you all going, even if you don't want to have a few words, you want to have a few words because you locked in. You know, you might want to. We've seen enough prison flicks and TV shows, and he might have wanted to rub one out at the feet or at least in the vicinity of her, just to smell whatever or look at her face. You know how this goes, right? So there was this agreement in 2008, 2007 that was being tossed around, and 50 put the flames on it, asking who is Meech, who is Tammy Cowings, while calling him a rat now publicly, right? And you knew it was on. Once he did that, you knew it was on. You knew whatever he had in the chamber for him, he was going to start letting off a bullet at a time. He wasn't going to empty out on him, but he was going to start, and then he was going to have an ice pick, and he was going to poke him every now and again. Why, pow, poke, 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 pow, but in a calculated way, 50's calculated, so he's going to do it in a calculated manner. So now he's calling him a rat. He's now saying ain't no show, little nigga. Y'all want to play? Ain't no next season. What you mean hold some cash? He was trying to bust moves till the next season started, a little cash to hold him over till the other checks start rolling back in again. And 50's probably, man, I ain't trying to hear that. You know what I mean? You could get money all over this world, but you chose to do something with my enemies of all people. You chose to do it with them. You made a conscious decision that you wanted to get money with them. Of all the people you could have got money with outside of me, right? So now the Tammy Cowens Dion Cuffey story gets amplified. Now people want all the details. Cuffey's calling Blue Da Vinci on Cam Capone or other interviews, and then he's doing his own call-ins on with his own connection, because the connections are the connections, and when you deep and you big and you got that presence in the game, you got that reach. You could reach out, you could do what you need to do to get your word out there, right? In this day and age especially, right? Because we're hearing more from incarcerated famous people, or just people incarcerated, more than ever. Like, people are becoming public figures while incarcerated, so it's like we're in a different time, right, with that. So if you did something to somebody and they don't want to be silent about it, it's ways for them to get their message out there, right? So let's move on. So now we understand this story of Tammy Cowens coming to see Meech. Somehow, smart lady, broker herself into getting a piece of the life rights, selling them, presenting them to Mr. Dion Cuffey, who had the funds and the money and the wherewithal to invest in something that he also knew was a guaranteed moneymaker, right? But in the midst of that, it feels to me that Tammy Cowens is more connected to the streets than these alleged reports are letting on, just because she was in relations with a federal officer who was in charge or investigating that case, or that she was brokering the third party cooperation with. She's also in here talking to all these kingpins, so she's making all these connections through all these people she's talking to, setting up these third party agreements. And a lot of them never got found out. That's why they were doing this. It was anonymous. So I'm pretty sure she was finding ways to also intelligently cut herself deals and knew how to maneuver. Like, I don't know if she was in the game and got caught up and then just became an ally, or carved a niche with this other business, somehow, some way. But whatever the case may be, she's here, she's there, she's in the mix, and she smartly got a piece of the rights and got herself involved in the business of BMF, the corporation, right? So she's intertwined into that. She's now given the power to go around, broker deals, look for investments, look for people to take Cuffy's investment and Meech's and BMF story to the next level. But little did Mr. Dion Cuffy know there was another play at hand, which was the original play at hand, because if the stories are correct, then we know that Cuffy couldn't have been aware that Tammy Cowens was the third party cooperation hookup girl, right? She's probably looking like, oh, this is my man Meech Connect on the outside running a little business for him, and she got some type of pull and power. We using our connections to make things happen, right? But I'm pretty sure he knew that she was the third party girl, and she was also fucking federal agents and all this, that, and the third, that he probably wouldn't have messed with her, right? And especially not to the point where she would convince him on the word of Meech to go buy some keys from some supposed new supplier or supply connect that he set up from in prison. I mean, he probably never, through all the 30, 40 years or whatever of them doing business, never had even an inkling to question Meech's loyalty to the game, to the streets, those unspoken terms of loyalty in business, right? Because they had it for all this time. So he probably didn't think, he probably thought twice, but he probably didn't do the normal, because it was probably business as usual, right? But it was a setup, jam or something to that nature, and this third party was implicating Cuffy in things that he knew for certain that only him, Chick, and Meech probably knew, or he finally put it together and was like, oh, okay, oh, y'all did the flim flam on me, whatever. And that also brings into like, well, like BMF has been on TV now for these couple of years. Is Cuffy still in charge, or getting that percentage of the life rights, or did they also use this thing that they jammed him up in to try to get Meech out earlier as a tool to somehow snatch away those rights or snatch away that agreement? Because I guess it was based in illicit funds that he invested to try to get the rights, so it was null and void or something, got him out the way. She got to the level or whatever, or that was the original plan, so Meech can get out and she would be a part for the ride or whatever. They get caught. She gets caught messing with this officer or whatever. Everything falls apart. Meech ends up having to do all the time, but she's still in the mix. And now them people went after Cuffy, right? He went and nabbed up all his stuff, right? So knowing all that, we can only logically come to terms to say, hey, well, 50 also had to know all of that, and he still decided to move forward in the unspoken terms of business to keep the brand of BMF valuable and keep it valuable enough for G Unit and Stars to get the return on their investment before, or just in case the rumblings finally got too big of the actual character and possible mistake or alleged mistake or cooperation that Big Meech might have did, right? Because who's going to know where the bodies are buried but your partner, right? The person who's getting that money with you, right? They need some level of security or good faith between y'all, so that usually means getting your hands dirty or some dirt of some sort being known on both ends, whether it's bodies, or you've been to jail a couple of times, so they know you're not going to fold under pressure, something to some nature. You got to get them hands dirty to have built that level of loyalty and business in the drug game, right? And this also applies in the business world, because they're messing with billions and zillions, and information is power. So you need to know how all things are moving and how it could affect your business and everything, right? So 50 was pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that he knew about all this situation, and by probably looking at it like, well, he didn't get out anyway, and it's not really no official paper because it really never went through, even though Cuffy is still in jail, and the government, the people still went through with whatever they was going to go through with on him, even though he did, everything didn't go as planned, right? So maybe 50 Cent was banking on the perception of, well, he still did 25 years, so we could get the money and just try to muffle all the snitch talk, at least till we get the whole story out and the show's a success and it's in syndication and all that good stuff, right? We can't squeeze no more out the BMF on our end, right? But then that also has us as the public looking at 50 like, well, you can't, you knew he was a snitch. So you knew he had tendencies of, at this stage of the game, not being loyal. Because somebody he dealt with for 30, 40 years or whatever in the underworld, he gave him up, right? So of course he would flip on you just because you gave him a TV show that he probably felt as though he could recreate or get reinvestors to retell that story in another way and rebrand it as the official Big Meech version and all that, right? So you still decided to move forward because you wanted that bank. You wanted that part of your catalog for whatever other business ventures that you were trying to expand G-Unit Films and entertainment and all that into, right? But you always held the dirt in the folder if he got out of line. And that was probably another unspoken term. I know what you did. So we gonna keep it copacetic, because we gonna get this money, because I don't agree with what you did, but I mess with you. We had an understanding. I get it. You know what I mean? But we could still make this money, right? But he probably never gave him that look, like, or I'm sure he probably did, like, you try to, probably gave him the kind warning, it's grown man business, right? It's some grown man business, right? So what come with that, right? And Mish was like, yo, we fully agree. I know what you're doing for my family, and you know what I mean. Bam, right? And everybody held Tammy close, because Tammy ties the big no-no to Meech altogether. So that was another thing that he said in one of his Instagram posts, that you should have never broke ties with Tammy Cohen. But he might have been seeing something from Tammy Cohen, because Tammy Cohen's a wheeler and dealer, and she's not loyal to anyone in business either. There's no unspoken terms to her to Meech, because she might have feel as though she's always going to get a piece of that. She has the right. She's in charge of the business. She brokered the deals. She did whatever, right? But Meech probably got home and said, "Man, this motherfucker been digging in my pockets, been using my name to make her to gain her own interest, and not the interest of me included in that. But now it's just turning into she's the only one coming up. I need to get her out of here. I need to get her hand out my pocket. She is no longer needed, right? Right? Business, right? Just straight businesses. You cut costs. Something that is an asset becomes a liability. You cut the costs. You understand? But he might have miscalculated how much of cutting that cost might actually cost him in the profit margins, profit wise. You know? You know? He might not have known he was cutting off his nose to spite his face. Because he might have felt as though enough time has passed. I did all this time and I did all this stuff that he probably feels as though you've been amply compensated for taking this ride with me since 2008. I shouldn't owe you nothing else. I'm home now. I'm cutting costs, right? So, those are questions I need answered as far as did Cuffy lose his percentage in the life rights, and how did he lose them? If he lost them, right? Or how is that still working out if he's the one who bought 50 Cent to the table or helped broker that introduction to Tammy Cohen's to get him to Meech, right? Also, I want to know if from the clip, he was still hustling in prison, or was that the last hustle that he was allowed to put together through the government? Was this some government seized bricks that he got sold to Cuffy? Or was this an actual deal he brokered and the other person that was supplying the bricks also got jammed up and is just not saying nothing because they're on the cartel side allegedly? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is all my perspective. I know nothing. I'm just trying to put it together, right? From the outside looking in. So if he was still hustling in prison, under any circumstances, even if it was fees for introductions and vouching for people, then that would mean that you don't need the money from Rick Ross that he was looking to give you to do this concert. That means you didn't need it. Because I'm pretty sure you had a nice nest egg somewhere if you were still hustling in prison. So it's just observation. Was he actually still hustling in prison? I mean, I'm not pretty sure he's not going to come out and say, yeah, I was, you know. But, yeah. Or if so, if that was only a one-time thing to jam up Cuffy in 2008, was that the deal? Right. Also, another question I got regarding this situation. If the deal never went through, as far as on his side of things for the third party cooperation, why wasn't that paperwork destroyed? Why wasn't any involvement of Demetrius Big Meech Flannery tied to Dion Cuffy's case? Right? Why wasn't that destroyed? if they still used his information, why wouldn't Tammy Cohen's be punished for having relations with the agent, but his deal still go through because he had no knowledge or awareness of her having a sexual relationship with the agent? Now, if he did and he was the one who set that up or who winked and told her, hey, you might want to try this to make this go through faster type of deal, like he had a hand in that and that was the reason, we want to know that. So now, the unspoken terms. Did 50 Cent flat out give him in the business they had that, hey, if you do, it has to be understood that if you do business with me, you can't do business with them, or that we are cut from the same cloth, that you should know that you can't do business with individuals like Rick Ross, right? Now, any brother off the street who was given that opportunity would automatically know, or I would hope they would automatically know, that you could not do business with Rick Ross. But we're talking about a mythical figure and beloved street pharmacist like never seen in Big Meech, as far as a black man doing his thing. Him and Frank Lucas changed the games forever. But he might not look at it like, he might look at it like, I'm giving you the opportunity. Right? I brought this story to you. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Because you still ain't get to the good parts of my story yet. The Atlanta. Right? I'm about to really set it off for you with the information or whatever is going on, right? But is there loyalty in business? Or are you as loyal as the deal is good? In America, we buy for one, sell for two. But if we could buy for 50 cents and sell for two, we're going to go get it for 50 cents and sell it for two. And take that extra profit margin now of $1.50 instead of just $1. Even though that dollar is 100% profit, 100% double, we still want the extra. Because that's how some people do business, right? But some people don't know. Some people have to look further down the road. Is if I go here to buy the product for 50 cents instead of where I was getting it with this relationship I have over here of this quality $1 thing that's been working and put me on, could I piss off my clientele? Could I be buying a weaker, less quality product that eventually affects my brand and people start buying less, even though I'm making more per item, you know? Could me switching over kill my brand? Could this extra 50 cent per item cost me selling items altogether? You know? So that's the situation. Like, Did Big Meech foresee or plan out or care to break the unspoken terms of his arrangement with 50 Cent? Maybe he deemed as though these terms are outdated and are not as lucrative as presented when we made the agreement. So you broke the agreement because you didn't fulfill the lucrative aspect of it for me when I provided the content and the product. Even though you gave me the opportunity to work with you so you could present it in the right way, I'm not eating how I should be, right? The terms are not known to us, but we do know that there are unspoken terms when people do business, especially street guys that are known for handling business with a certain level of integrity and loyalty, right? So I want to know your thoughts. Like, comment, share, subscribe. It's the Hoom Boom Show. We've been here for an hour. I want to know your thoughts on the unspoken terms of loyalty in business. Are there any loyalty in business, or is it just business and you take the best deal that works for you, whether short term or long term? It's your boy Hoom Boom. It's the Hold Up Show. Peace.